Hey guys, welcome to our video series where I discuss the top 5 sets. In this video, we go over the top 5 medium armor sets for the current patch of Markarth. If you haven't seen my other videos, be sure to check out the full playlist in the top right hand corner of your screen. This video is a broad overview of the best medium armor sets for open world PvP. I not only show you what the set does and explain why it is good, but I also show you where to get it. Without further ado, let's get right into it. For the first set we have Briarheart. This gives a 2-piece weapon critical, a 3-piece max stamina, a 4-piece weapon critical, and the 5-piece, when you deal critical damage, you increase your weapon damage by 450 for 10 seconds. While this effect is active, your critical strikes heal you for 349 health. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. Also, on a side note, all of these classes are going to be stamina, so they're not going to be any magic classes in this video because it's medium armor sets. So just keep that in mind. For the idle classes for Briarheart, it's going to be a Sorcerer, a Templar, and a Nightblade. The main reason being is all three of these classes get some sort of buff to their critical, whether it be healing. So for instance, on the Sorcerer, they have a skill called Critical Surge, and most stamina sorcs will run this, as whenever they deal critical damage, they heal themselves for 3300 health, and this effect can occur once every 1 second. So not only do you get healed from the Briarheart whenever you deal critical damage, but also whenever you deal critical damage with crit surge, you also get another heal. So it kind of stacks, and that makes you pretty tanky with healing. So for Templars, they have a skill called Biting Jabs, and this skill increases their major savagery, so it raises their critical strike chance, so they can proc Briarheart more often. And for Nightblades, they get extra increased critical damage, and they also, whenever they deal critical damage, they increase their weapon critical. So it pans up really well with all three of these classes. Probably the best being Sorcerer, as they get the main healing, but Templars and Nightblades are a good option as well. The main reason why Briarheart is such a solid set is that they recently buffed it. They made it to where it's 100% proc now, so it's not a chance to proc it anymore. I think it used to be like an 8% chance. So now it's just whenever you do critical damage, you could even backbar this set if you wanted to. You can get Briarheart in Hrothgar. You do have to have the Orsinium DLC to obtain this set. If you want to get Briarheart, you can either buy it in the trader or you can farm it yourself. If you want to farm it yourself, you can go to the public dungeons, the delves, and the war bosses. For the next set, we have Deadly Strike. This gives a 2-piece weapon damage, a 3-piece weapon critical, a 4-piece weapon damage, and the 5-piece increases the damage your physical, bleed, poison, and disease damage over time, and channel abilities do by 20%. For the idle classes, it's going to be a Dragon Knight, a Templar, and a Warden. I would suggest running dual wield with this set because you have a skill called Blood Craze, and that's a dual wield skill that does bleed damage. So I would pair that up with all of these skills. So for a Dragon Knight in particular, Dragon Knights have a lot of poison damage. So for instance, like Noxious Breath, that's going to reduce their physical and spell resistance and do a ton of poison damage over 10 seconds. So that's going to get buffed by 20%. For Templars, they have a skill called Biting Jabs, and this is a channeled ability, so it's going to get buffed by 20%, which would really beef up Templar's damage. And for Wardens, they don't have a ton of options for dots, but they do have Cutting Dive, and if you wanted to run this set with a Warden, it would be okay, but it wouldn't perform like the other two classes would. So they have Cutting Dive, and whenever you're 7 meters away and they set them off balance, it will cause a bleed damage over 7 seconds. You can get Deadly Strike in Cyrodiil at the little town in Bruma. It does cost alliance points to get this set. I think it's like in between 12,000 alliance points to 20,000 alliance points per box. You can buy Deadly Strike in the guild traders, but it's not a very often found set. And if you do, it's going to be like 40-50k for the Divine Species. So if you have 500,000 alliance points to blow, this is the best place to get it, in my opinion. Next, we have Powerful Assault. This gives a 2-piece maximum health, a 3-piece maximum stamina, a 4-piece weapon damage, and the 5-piece. When you cast an assault ability, you and up to 5 group members within 10 meters gain 307 weapon damage and spell damage for 10 seconds. So for the idle classes, you're going to run this on a Dragon Knight and a Templar. Now there is a small caveat to running Powerful Assault. You do have to run an assault skill. So most stamina builds will be running Resolving Vigor, so that's basically your proc, and when you hit Resolving Vigor, you get the weapon damage for 10 seconds. So for Dragon Knights, the reason why Powerful Assault pairs well is it not only buffs your group, so if you're running a small group, obviously that's a bonus to their damage. So Dragon Knights with Powerful Assault is the best in my opinion, as whenever they use an Earthenheart ability, they give their group members minor brutality, and so that increases the weapon damage by 10%. So not only are you giving your teammates 300 weapon damage, but also you're giving them 10% more weapon damage on top of that. So for Templars, they don't really have anything that buffs their friends, but they do have a passive that increases their weapon damage by 6%. You can get Powerful Assault in the Imperial Sewers. You do have to have the Imperial City DLC to get this set. If you want to buy it with Telvar stones, you do have to go to the lockbox vendor. But this set is all around in the guild traders. I'm sure you can find the pieces. They are kind of expensive. I think this set is a really solid set and is kind of low key right now, so just try to keep it low key as possible. For the next set, we have Essence Thief. This gives a 2-piece maximum stamina, a 3-piece maximum stamina, and a 4-piece weapon damage, and a 5-piece dealing damage with a light or heavy attack draws essence from the enemy that pulls near them for 5 seconds. Drawing from the pool heals you for 4,356 health and restores 4,356 stamina and increases your damage done by 10% for 10 seconds. A pool can only be created once every 10 seconds. So for the idle classes with Essence Thief, it's going to be a Nightblade and a Warden. So for Nightblades in particular, their ultimate Incapacitating Strike causes the enemy to take more damage from your own attacks. So this would pair very well with Essence Thief. Not only that, but the Essence Thief pool itself drops like a green orb around the person you're hitting. So you kind of have to be fast. So on a Nightblade, you're going to want to run this on a 2H and a bow. And you can backbar this set, so if you light attack on your bow bar, it'll proc on them, and then you go pick it up pretty much. On the Warden with Essence Thief, it is okay. It's not as good as the Nightblade, obviously, but they do have a skill called Bird of Prey, and this does give them minor berserk passively. So this would be basically an increase of 15% damage. And again, Wardens are fast because they have Bird of Prey that gives them the major expedition. So proccing this on your back bar with your bow and then going to pick up the pool, you can get it pretty consistently, and it gives you some good sustain as well. You can get Essence Thief from the Dungeon White Gold Tower. You do have to have the Imperial City DLC to get the set. And finally, we have Sensei. This gives a 2-piece stamina recovery, a 3-piece weapon critical, a 4-piece max stamina, and a 5-piece. When you use dodge roll, you increase your critical damage by 15% for 8 seconds. So for the idle classes, it's going to be a Stamina Nightblade. Now, the reason why I'm adding this set is because a lot of people are running lower NPen. They're running full Divines builds. You know, I'm even running full Divines builds because NPen isn't really a big deal anymore. But the thing is that could actually make crit builds more viable. So for Nightblades, if you run the Shadow Mundus Stone with Sensei's Bite, Nightblades get the increased critical damage from the Homage passive. So this is basically just a little niche build. It's nothing, probably isn't the best in slot, but you could definitely hit really hard on some people that have low NPen and just nuke their health bar. You can get Sensei in Reaper's March. You can buy this set in the guild traders. This set isn't very expensive at all, so I'm sure you can find a few pieces. But if you don't want to buy it, you can farm it from the public dungeon, the delves, and the world bosses. And that's a wrap, guys. I hope you guys learned something. I plan on doing the top 5 light armor sets next and then doing the crafted sets, so just keep a lookout for those. I'm probably gonna hopefully be able to work on them some this weekend, but if not, they'll be out probably close to the end of next week. Working a full-time job sucks. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.